McConkey is that guy, man. Let McConkey making plays. All right, let's get started on this session here. Perfect time because we got Monday Night Football happening right now. Honestly, a good time to get this therapy session happening. Monday Night Football is the perfect time to do our therapy sessions. All right, here, let's see. Let me. I guess we can let that go. Oh my goodness. That's just me forgetting. Good job, me. Good job, me. I'm never going to remember that all the time. It's unfortunate. It is what it is. I ain't really worried about that. All right. What's going on, everybody? Sorry that took a while. I told y'all last night that I was going to do a week 2 therapy session for the Ravens. But like I said yesterday, I had to make my recap on the Browns, which I just posted. It's on the channel right now if you guys want to go watch. And I had to make my State of the AFC North address. Usually it is a live stream that we do for that, and we usually do it on Tuesdays, but I felt that this week it'd be better to do a video on it. So you'll probably see the week 2 State of the AFC North video come out tomorrow. So I had to make those 2 videos today, and then I was watching the Texans and Buccaneers games while I was making those videos, and I had to make a short on that. It's also on the channel if you want to check that out. I had my short take about what's going on with the Texans offense and how it's costing the team football games, because that defense played well enough to win, but that offense, man, oh boy, that offense is looking bad, and CJ Stroud is clearly regressing. What's going on, Loyal? Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. I voiced some of my opinions on the shorts, but I really don't know what to tell you, man. This offense for Houston is looking bad. And this is a division that's supposed to be there. Look at Justin Herbert just like trying to. Justin Herbert's really become more of a scrambler over the last 2 years. You know, that's kind of the Greg Roman effect. But we'll talk about that later. But yeah, this is supposed to be a division where we looked at the Texans and said this was their division. They are the best team coming out of it to start the season. And there's still plenty of football left. But now they're 0-2. Meanwhile, the Colts are 2-0. The Colts and Texans haven't faced off against each other yet. And neither one of these teams have faced, actually, yeah, neither one of these teams have faced off against a divisional foe yet. So there's still plenty of time for the Texans to catch up. But right now, the Colts are leading that division at 2-0. And the Texans, the team that everyone expected to be leading that division because you had CJ Stroud and that great defense, they're now 0-2. And they're 0-2 in games in which their defense has played well enough to win, and their offense just didn't do anything. Also, CJ Stroud has regressed. It's a very, very clear thing. Last year, you can make that argument that, yeah, there were issues with the weapons, and it was just sophomore slump in some cases. This year, through 2 games, CJ Stroud has not played well. He was awful in week 1 against the Rams. Today, he played well. He had that touchdown pass on the opening drive. But past that, CJ Stroud, he's overthrowing receivers. He's underthrowing receivers. Some of these passes, he's dirting them. I don't know what to say about CJ Stroud. And I get it, his offensive line is terrible. That's a big part of why the offense has been struggling. The offensive line can't block. They can't protect the quarterback. And if your offensive line can't protect your quarterback, you've got no shot to win on most Sundays. But besides that, it's CJ Stroud's regression that's showcasing itself live on the football field. It's the offensive line that can't protect, and it's the offensive coordinator that doesn't know what he's doing. The play calling for the Texans offensively is so damn confusing. They're not utilizing their talent. They're not utilizing their weapons. This play calling is horrible. They got to get it together. So Houston, man, I wish the best for you and the Texans. I hope they can get this offense together because you've got talent. And you're wasting the defensive efforts. The defense played well in week 1 and tonight to win, but the offense is wasting it. You even had a block field goal. Or was that punt? Block field goal, block punt. It might have actually been a block punt, excuse me. But you had a block punt. You were in prime position to score a touchdown. You get a field goal. Like, these are the things. You had opportunities to win this game, and you don't take advantage of it. This is it's bad. It's really bad for the Texans offense. I mean, 19 points in a game that they really could have put up 20 plus points. They could have won this game. And yes, people get on the defense for that game-winning drive, but dude, they were exhausted. They played well for 58 minutes. Meanwhile, the offense is not helping them. There's only so much a defense can do. These guys are human. At some point, they're going to break. You can't expect the defense to hold up for 60 minutes and carry the offense when they're not doing their job. They couldn't run the ball tonight. The only good run performance they saw, or run moment that they saw, was the moment with Nick Chubb when he ran into the end zone. That's the only rushing positive they had from this game. So they can't run the ball. They can't protect the quarterback. The quarterback's struggling to see the field. He's underthrowing passes. He's overthrowing passes. He's dirting passes. The offensive coordinator's play calling's been awful. That leads to disaster for the Houston Texans, and that's why they're 0-2. So there's my take on tonight's game between the Texans and the Bucs. I got nothing else really to say about that. They got things to figure out. And yeah, it is what it is in regards to that. But I wanted to get that out the way because the game just happened. And obviously we are watching the Chargers and Raiders play. By the way, this is a must-win game for the Chargers. I mean, it's also a game where you say it's a very, very, very opportunity. It's an opportunist game for the Raiders because they got a chance to go 2-0, me first in the division. But the Chargers have to win this game. The Chargers have the best chances to win this division. The Chargers have the best chance to win the AFC West over Kansas City. They've got the best opportunity. They win tonight, they will go 2-0 on the season and 2-0 on the division. They beat the Raiders. They will beat the Raiders tonight if they win, and they beat Kansas City last week. The Chargers win this game, they're in the driver's seat early on in the AFC West with a 2-0 divisional record. This is an opportunity for the Chargers to really make a statement early on this season and say, we're taking control of this division. They beat the Chiefs last week. They're on primetime again this week against another divisional foe. You win today, you set the tone for what you guys can be in this division. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. It's a 3-3 game right now. The Chargers do have the ball. They are in field goal range. In fact, I believe they're in the red zone right now. Let me see. They're in the goal lines. It's first and... Well, it's not first and goal, but they're at the 7-yard line here. 1st and 5. Raiders defense want to hold them to another field goal here. We'll see what happens there. But welcome, everybody. We're not here to talk about the game. We are here to talk about the Ravens. Welcome, everybody, to the Week 2 Ravens therapy session. Yes, we do have therapy sessions even during wins. You don't go to a therapist and tell them all negative things. When there's some times and some days where you're having some good moments, you speak about the positives as well to your therapist. You speak about the positives, you speak about the negatives. So we are here every week for the therapy session, no matter what the result of the game is. It's just that when we lose, the therapy session hurts. When we win, the therapy session is relatively cool. We just speak on a few things and a few things that we wish could be better, but we speak on the positives about what they did. So welcome to the Week 2 Ravens therapy session. We're going to get right into it here and talk about what happened on Sunday in Baltimore. But before I do that, let me pull this up here. I got to pull up the... Meanwhile, the Chargers, here we go. Herbert, the drop back, pressure's coming. Herbert steps up. Herbert gonna fire to the end zone. Touchdown. Keenan Allen at the back of the end zone. Touchdown Chargers. They're gonna take the lead here. Well, since Joe Burrow's down, I already said in week 1 with my short, if you've seen my short about the Chargers and Chiefs game, I'm pushing the agenda for Justin Herbert to win MVP this year, and I think the opportunity is right in front of him if he can do so. I'm tired of hearing about Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. We get it. Every year I don't want to hear about that anymore. Let's get somebody fresh into this that has a chance to do it. And right now, Justin Herbert, this is his time. This is his moment. Justin Herbert MVP campaign. Let's get it started here for him. Because I don't care about MVP for Lamar. It's all about the ring. If we don't win the ring, it doesn't mean anything. Lamar wins a ring, he's top 10 all-time quarterback. And we can have those legit discussions. But, yeah, I'm not worried about a MVP for Lamar this year. I could care less about that. But, yeah, let's talk about this Week game. Let's speak on the positives first. Let's speak on the positives. And I'll read some of your comments a little bit later here, but I want to speak on the positives. Not too long, though, because, I like to interact with you guys. But let's speak on the positives. So let's start with the positives here offensively. Lamar Jackson, buddy's in his prime. He's arguably been the best quarterback in football, at least in the regular season over the last 2 seasons. Now he's doing it again for a 3rd season. It's really special what Lamar does, man. Sunday didn't even feel like a spectacular Lamar Jackson game. It didn't feel like on Sunday night against the Bills, that felt like more of a spectacular Lamar Jackson game. He's dicing up defenses with his arms. He's dicing them up with his legs. You're watching this dual threat do what he does. He's making those type of crazy MVP type moments. You saw that. Unfortunately, we didn't win the game, but Lamar Jackson was in MVP form on Sunday Night Football against the Bills. Yesterday, Lamar Jackson this was like base Lamar. Like as an anime fan, this was base Lamar. And what I mean by that is Lamar didn't really have to put the cape on that much. I mean, we saw that 3rd down run against Buffalo in Sunday Night Football where he ended up picking up a 1st down on like 3rd and 13 because he's dodging like 2-3 defenders and then taking off and getting the 1st down. That's super Lamar. That's Lamar's being just different, man. He's just being different. Here against the Browns, I'm not going to lie, Lamar was a lot more tame. It wasn't really like Lamar Jackson, MVP Lamar. It was more like base Lamar. It's like we expected this from him. And that's so crazy to say because what we expect from him is still greatness. And what Lamar provided to us yesterday was still greatness. And this performance against the Browns defense was highly impressive. And that's what we need to really emphasize. Lamar Jackson against the Cleveland Browns, 19-29, 225 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, a passer rating of 128.6, and a QBR of 70. I mean, that's the nonchalant performance from Lamar yesterday. And he still threw 4 touchdowns and had a passer rating of above 120. I mean, the guy is in his prime and he's playing like the best quarterback in football. I don't know what else to really say. I feel we have to appreciate these moments, man. And that's why no matter how frustrating this team can be, I will always appreciate what I'm watching. Because let's be honest, we're not going to see this again. We're not going to see something like this again. We're not. Appreciate what you have at the quarterback position because we're not going to see this again. We're not. I mean, we'll be talking about Lamar Jackson 15 plus years down the road when Baltimore gets a new quarterback after Lamar Jackson's retired and heads to the Hall of Fame. We'll be talking about what this guy's done in his career and how impactful he was and the legendary moments that he put up. What we're seeing from Lamar is just such a fantastic thing to see. It's something we have to appreciate. It's something we have to be able to really emphasize and celebrate. I understand we're in this era where all we want to do is crap on these athletes and just poo-poo on their accomplishments and pretend that it doesn't matter. That's cool that he does this. Wear the ring. Wear the ring. The ring culture has really ruined the appreciation of these performances. Because at the end of the day, there's only going to be one team that wins a championship. You can't win it every year. We know that. And of course, you want your guy to be able to win it, and you hope at some point he does. But you've got to be able to appreciate greatness when it's in front of you. What we're seeing is not normal, and what we're witnessing has to be appreciated. It has to. But we're just not appreciating it, man. And that's the unfortunate part. We have to appreciate the moments. We have to appreciate the performance. What we're seeing here from Lamar Jackson, we got to appreciate this. I got a couple things that I want to showcase here. I'm sure you guys have seen it. It's been emphasized all throughout Twitter in regards to this. Just a few things. Number one, Lamar Jackson, with his performance yesterday, officially passed Aaron Rodgers for the all-time leader in passer rating. So he passed Aaron Rodgers yesterday with this performance, all-time in passer rating. I don't know if Lamar's going to stay there or not. I'm not really looking to discuss that, but he's now number one all-time in passer rating. Lamar also has the most rushing yards in NFL history for a quarterback. He's got the most quarterback rushing yards in NFL history, and he has the number one career passer rating of all time, surpassing Aaron Rodgers. That also speaks for Aaron Rodgers' greatness because he's still playing to this day, and he was number one at that. So that's cool on him. But yeah, this is something that's just not normal. He's number one in passer rating all time. Another thing, Lamar Jackson is top 10 in passer. Lamar Jackson, since he became a starter, 2019 is when he became the face of this franchise. Since 2019, Lamar Jackson is top 10 in passer rating and top 10 in rushing yards. That is another crazy stat to really throw out there. That's the greatness of Lamar Jackson. I'll throw out another stat in regards to Lamar Jackson. Since 2024, so since last year, Lamar Jackson has the most touchdown passes. The most touchdown passes of 10 plus yards. The most 10 plus yards touchdown passes since 2024. I think yesterday made it 34. Joe Burrow is second with 22. Lamar Jackson on 10 plus air yard throws since last season. 22 touchdowns, 1 interception, best in the NFL, and a passer rating of 32, best in the NFL. I mean, this guy is spectacular. Lamar also has the most 4 passing touchdown performances of any quarterback since 2021. This is what this guy has been doing. Lamar is spectacular, okay? Lamar is spectacular. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen. At the end of the day, Lamar will be heading to Canton when he finally decides to retire. If he ever wins a championship, we will have legit conversations about Lamar Jackson being a top 10 quarterback all time because his resume is up there with the greats. The only thing he's missing is a championship. He gets a championship, you can say undoubtedly he's top 10 all-time quarterback. That is going to be a conversation that we will have at some point if he ever gets it. So, again, it's crazy to see that Lamar Jackson is playing at such a high level that a game like yesterday was viewed as a nonchalant game for Lamar Jackson. It was viewed as a quiet game for Lamar Jackson because he didn't really put the Superman cape on. And the reason why people say it's a quiet game is because he didn't take off or do much in the run game. He had 2 carries for 39 yards. If Lamar Jackson had like 60 yards rushing and a touchdown, and then he had the other 4 touchdown passes, everyone would be like, that's Super Lamar. But we didn't see much of the dual threat because, again, he didn't need to be that. Not to mention, the Browns defense did stop the run. The Browns defense came into the game and said, let's shut down Derrick Henry. So this is a positive to see here because Derrick Henry had 11 carries for 23 yards. The front 7 of the Browns defense spent the entire 60 minutes saying, we're not letting Derrick Henry run the football on us. They didn't let Derrick Henry get an ounce of space. They said, we're shutting down Derrick Henry today. And they did that. So it was up to Lamar in this passing game to get things going. And you still had Lamar Jackson finish with 4 passing touchdowns. You still had him complete 65% of his passes. He still ends up with a passer rating of 128, a QBR of 70, and the Ravens still blow these guys out. So that is such a crazy thing to see, man. I mean, we really have to appreciate Lamar Jackson. Obviously, we want the Ravens to fix their issues with blowing leads. Obviously, we want the Ravens to stop choking games away. Obviously, we want to see the Ravens execute in the postseason. We want to see all these things. We want to see them win a championship. So we all know that's the focus. Now, in terms of whether or not they're going to get it, you guys know what my stance is with that. I'll buy into it when I see it. I don't trust this team as far as I can throw them. They're snake oil. Do not trust them. Prove it to me, and then I'll give you your credit. You've lost the benefit of the doubt with me. Prove it to me that you can do it, and then we'll celebrate and give you your credit. But other than that, we can't trust you guys. And I don't care what you do in the regular season. you will not be trusted. You can go beat Kansas City in week 4. You will not be trusted. So, yeah, what Lamar Jackson is doing is special, and we have to appreciate it. And we get to watch this guy play every week. Appreciate this now, because in 15 years, when the Ravens have to go get a new quarterback and Lamar Jackson sitting in Kenton, we're going to sit back on these moments and remember what this guy's doing. And we're never going to get a quarterback like this again, ever. We may get another great quarterback that's going to be great and help this team out and win some games and be great, hopefully. And maybe we'll win a Super Bowl with him as well. Hopefully we win one with Lamar as well, so we can continue the tradition. But we're not getting another Lamar Jackson, bro. He's one of one, and it's clear as day. So appreciate what you're seeing right now. That was one of the positives of yesterday. Another couple positives here. Zay Flowers, 7 catches, 75 yards. Zay Flowers is really looking to be that guy this year. If he keeps this up, he's gonna have another 1,000-yard season, and he's going to be another. He's gonna have another Pro Bowl selection. Zay Flowers is looking good to start the season, and he is looking to be that number one guy for Lamar. And this dude's making plays. Zay, please keep this up, man. You're showcasing some of those progressions we wanted to see for year 3 Zay Flowers. So year 3 Zay Flowers right now is looking good to start the season. Keep it up, Zay. You were great. You made some great catches in that game against Cleveland. You were winning your one-on-one matchups. Please keep it up. Another positive here. Tez Walker. Tez Walker becomes the second receiver in franchise history to start his career with 3 catches and 3 touchdowns. The other receiver was Torrey Smith. So you make whatever assumptions or assessments you want to make based off of that information I gave you. Tez Walker had 2 catches yesterday. Both of them were for touchdowns. And this guy's route running was looking pretty nice. I mean, I liked what I saw from Tez Walker out there. Oh, that could have been a touchdown for the Raiders, but you get a great stop here. Is that St. Jude? No way he made that stop. But 3rd down and 6 here for them. Let me see that. No. Okay, that was not him. I knew St. Jude's they made no stop like that. He's just in the vicinity. He didn't make that play. Oh, damn well, he can't make that stop. Anyway, yeah. Tez Walker, I really hope they look to get him a little bit more reps. Now, here's the thing. Baltimore finally has depth at the receiving core. They have depth with their weapons. So because they finally have depth, it's going to be hard to feed everybody. You see Zay Flowers do what he did. You see Tez Walker, and then we could talk about the other positive. I think some of you guys have already said in the comment section, dude, D-Hop has already exceeded expectations of what we thought he was going to be. We hoped he could be this. He's exceeded expectations through 2 games. I sat back and said with a D-Hop signing, all he has to do is be better than Nelson Aguilar, and it's an immediate upgrade massively. If he's better than Nelson Aguilar, this offense will be in great hands. Through 2 games, he's done everything Lamar has tried to get Nelson Aguilar to do. You remember last year, or like at least the last 2 years, when Lamar Jackson would just throw the ball down the field in one-on-one coverage to Nelson Aguilar, and Aguilar would just not make the catch because he's not capable of doing that? Yeah, he's got D-Hop to do that. And D-Hop is catching everything Lamar throws in his direction. We've been asking to get somebody like this to at least make those tough catches. And we got tired of it so many times. It was like 4 times when we watched Lamar throw to Nelson Aguilar. And everyone's like, bro, please stop throwing to Aguilar. And then others are like, well, he's open. Lamar's reading the defense, seeing the matchups. He's watching Nelson Aguilar get one-on-one coverage and get open in that coverage. And he's throwing him the ball just for Nelson Aguilar to drop the ball or not make the play. So Lamar tried to get that done with Aguilar, and he just couldn't make the play because Aguilar can't catch worth a damn. We still love you, Aguilar. Thank you so much for your time here. We appreciate it, man. You were a class act when you were here. Thank you so much. Let's not throw too much at Aguilar. Aguilar was great at times when we needed him to be great. Shout out to Aguilar. We ain't gonna throw no hate. We ain't Philadelphia. It didn't work out for Philly. When Aguilar was here, he made plays. We wish it could have been better at times when he caught a little bit more, but we don't have any animosity or hate towards Nelson Aguilar. But he made some plays when he was in Baltimore. We gonna show that man love, okay? He was not bad when he was here. Maybe in Philadelphia, go talk to the Eagles fans about that. But when he was in Baltimore, he wasn't bad. And he was wide receiver 3. He did his job. But D-Hop was everything we wanted him to be and more. D-Hop was everything we want him to be and more, and he's catching everything. He's been such a net positive. So shout out to him. Net positive with Lamar, net positive with Flowers, net positive with Devontae Walker. Let's see if we can get him a little bit more snaps. Net positive with D-Hop. Another net positive. Dog. And I think I'm seeing some of the comments. I can't wait to get into the comments and talk to you guys about this. But dog. Ray Lewis must have possessed Roquan Smith, bro. Ray Lewis must have transferred his soul into Roquan Smith yesterday. Dog, that was the best Roquan Smith has played as a Raven. I'm dead serious. That was Chicago Roquan Smith. Now, Roquan Smith has had some great performances and consistently been great. But, dog, he ain't played like that. He ain't never played like in the 3 years he been here, bro. He ain't played like that. Roquan Smith, that was the best performance he had as a Raven. Dog, he had 15 tackles. Roquan Smith had 15 tackles. 15 tackles. 8 were solo tackles. 3 of those were tackles for loss. He had 2 quarterbacks hits. He picked up the fumble and scooped it up and ran to the end zone for a touchdown. And the dude had some legit speed when he was running down the sideline to get the touchdown. Dog, Roquan Smith had to have gotten possessed by Ray Lewis. Because where has this Roquan been? Nobody would have said a word if Roquan would have been playing like this consistently. Dog, if he plays like that through a 17-game span, he's the best linebacker in football. With playing like that? Golly. Legitimately, Ray Lewis must have possessed Roquan Smith. He ain't never played like that. So far in Baltimore, he's been great. That's why he's been a multiple-time All-Pro. But that performance? Dog. 15 tackles? Two quarterback hits, a return for the touchdown where he had legit speed. Dog, no, bro. he ain't, no. 3 of those tackles were for losses. 15 tackles, 8 of them were solo. 3 of those were for losses. 2 quarterback hits, a freaking fumble return for a touchdown, and a partridge in a pear tree. Like, dog, Roquan Smith literally had to get possessed by Ray Lewis to play like that. Ain't no way. That's the first time that man actually looked like Ray Lewis on the field. I ain't saying he Ray Lewis, but dog, that was a Ray Lewis type of performance because Ray had plenty of those type of performances. That was the best that man has looked since he's been here in Baltimore. Ro, if you play like that, we ain't got no problems. Nobody will be calling you fat. Even though he admitted he was not in shape, and he really wasn't that fat. He was just not in the shape we know he's supposed to be in. This year he is. But dog, man, Roquan, if you play like that for 15 more games, for 14 more games, I promise you, nobody will complain or say anything bad about you in Baltimore. Dog, just play like that. Play with that intensity, that level of fire. Whatever. If Ray Lewis got to stand behind you before each game and tell you to go get it done, to let you play like this, whatever needs to be done, dog. Whatever needs to be done. Dude was a huge net positive. Another net positive. Nate Wiggins, that dude was great in coverage and picked off Flacco and nearly took it to the house. Nate Wiggins, man, had himself a day on Sunday. Was balling out. He was shutting things down, and he was doing everything he needed to do. Got that pick and nearly took it to the house. Shout out to Nate Wiggins. Huge net positive there. Huge net positive there. Fantastic job. Defense as a whole deserves a smiley face or a check mark, whatever you want to give them. They played well in that game. So shout out to them. Shout out to them. They forced 2 turnovers. Shout out to the defense. Another net positive. I can't believe I'm saying this. Special teams was fantastic in this game. Tyler Loop was making his kicks. Stout was beaming these punts. These were amazing punts by Jordan Stout. Stout was beaming these punts. Punts were on point yesterday. Punts were on point. Stout was doing his thing. And then somehow, some way, I think I have to go and check this. I said this in my video as well. I didn't get to check it before I came here. Someone, if you have the notes as well, for the first time, since 2016 or 2017, I do believe it's since 2016. For the first time since 2016, the Ravens blocked a punt. Do you know how long it's been since we've seen a punt be blocked? It's been so long since the special teams played this well. It's been so long since the special teams were making plays. That was the best the special teams looked in like 7 years. Stout was on point. Loop was on point. The return was great. You saw LaJohntay Wilson. He nearly broke it. We blocked a punt. Dude, Stout had like a 70 punt. No, Stout was doing his job, dog. Stout was doing his job. Now, the Cleveland punter, he was really on it too. But Stout was doing his job. There was probably one punt that you look at and say it wasn't the best. I think it was the one that got to midfield. He was backed up at his own end zone, and it was like a 50-yard punt. So that one you can argue wasn't the best. But, dude, Stout had some good punts in that game. Special teams was doing their job, man. Special teams was doing their job. So I'm going to give them credit. 2016 Week 9 against Pittsburgh was the last block one. Dude, it's been 9 years. It's been 9 years. Nearly eight and a half, nearly 9 years since the Ravens have blocked a punt. That is insanity. Shout out to special teams, bro. That was a huge net positive here. Overall, all of these net positives coming together leads to the Ravens dominating the Browns. So, yeah, that was the good stuff. Let's get in on the negatives because we got a few of them. Number one, I need to say this right now. And I need everybody to understand this. The Ravens desperately need Patrick Ricard. For people that may have ever questioned what Patrick Ricard does, even though I don't think anyone was doing so, because Patrick Ricard and Kyle Juszczyk are the two best fullbacks in football, and they are very useful to their offenses. But if there was anyone that was out there that was questioning the importance of Patrick Ricard, you're seeing it right now through 2 games. Patrick Ricard is desperately needed out there, bro. We need the extra protection because the negative of this game was the offensive line. Oh, my goodness. The offensive line was awful in the first half. They were better in the second half. They recovered. They recovered in the second half. The offensive line did a better job in the second half. They recovered. They weren't fantastic, but they did recover. But in the first half, oh, my goodness. Good Lord. That offensive line was terrible. And I know everyone wants to sit back and point to Falele, and if you've been seeing the clips in the film out there, they showed a clip of Falele just looking lost, which again, based off of that, I think that's just what he's taught. I don't think he just let the defender get past him and is just standing there looking like an idiot. I think that was actually what is practiced there, which again, you go look at the offensive line coach in terms of what Falele is doing on that play, but I don't even know what to say. And I get we want to get on him, but dog, for today, the rest of the class gets to come with them. I don't care what y'all want to say or how you feel about it. We are not going to single out Falele. Today, the class comes along with him. Ronnie Stanley got smoked multiple times against Myles Garrett. Multiple times. Roger Rosengarten was poor. He was getting beat off the edge too. Go look at the film. Roger Rosengarten was poor. Dog. The film was showing it. Even Linderbaum was poor in some cases because they were getting interior pressure and he was making some mistakes. Myles Garrett was smoking everybody on the offensive line. It didn't matter if he was coming off the left side, the right side, going interior. Bro, the offensive line could not stop Myles Garrett. They couldn't stop that front seven. Everybody on the offensive line struggled. So I know we want to talk about Falele because he's the number one person to target and pinpoint when the offensive line stinks. But yesterday, it was a team effort and stinking. Everybody on that line got to get held accountable because that line as a unit did not play well. We watched Stanley get smoked. We watched Rosengarten struggle. We watched Linderbaum give up a few plays. The offensive line as a unit stunk against the Browns. So today, we don't single out Falele. You can't because everybody was bad. Go look at those reps. I don't know what Ronnie Stanley was thinking against. There was, oh my God, there's one where he posed no resistance, dog. Myles Garrett is coming off the edge. Ronnie Stanley tries. Bro, Myles Garrett moves that boy out the way. Says, get the hell out the way. And just smacks. I think it was actually Justice Hill on this one. It might have been Derrick Henry, but I believe it was Justice Hill on this play. Dog, Myles Garrett's just lined up on the right side. He's lined up on his right side. Ronnie Stanley obviously is the one covering him. Bro, he done swipe Ronnie Stanley out the way and just boomed our running back. Tackle for loss. Nah, bro. Nah. And Myles Garrett's the best defense. He's the best defensive player in football. He is. He's a game wrecker. Myles Garrett is the best defensive player in football. I'm going to just say it, bro. He is. That dude is a monster. And nobody could contain him yesterday. The O-line as a whole was a net negative, and they continue to prove that they can't handle any kind of pressure. So get ready for week 4 when Kansas City, which, by the way, Kansas City cannot generate a pass rush with a 4-man rush. The only way they're generating a pass rush, the only way they're generating any sort of pressure is through blitzes. They're sending 5 men. They're sending 6 men. And guess what? Every time Kansas City plays us, they send a 5-man rush or a 6-man rush on a man blitz, and we can't figure it out. Can't wait to see how Baltimore does with that in week 4. You don't think that's going to be a problem with this offensive line? When Spags sits back and says, oh, it's Baltimore again? Is their offensive line still questionable? Can they still not handle pressure? All right, bet. We can't get to anybody with a 4-man rush. You know what we're going to do? We're going to do what we do every time we face off against the Ravens. We're going to send 6. I'm going to send 6 on a man blitz, and I'm going to watch Lamar Jackson not have time to do anything because his offensive line can't hold. They did this to us in the AFC Championship game. They did this to us last year. They keep doing this to us because they know our offensive line cannot handle pressure. So Spags and a defense that is trying to figure out this pass rush unit against a team like us, they're going to send 6. And I cannot wait to see how the Ravens react to that. I'm telling you what the game plan is right now. In case Baltimore didn't know, you got a bunch of film of Spags doing it to you over and over and over and over and over again. Until you solve that puzzle, Spags has no reason to stop. I'm telling you right now, Spags is going to send a 6-man blitz. And we're going to have to figure that out. And if we can't figure it out, sayonara, we're losing to the Chiefs in week 4. And nobody will be surprised at Baltimore, by the way. But I'm just letting you know. Just when you guys are in the film room, you're not focused about that. You're not focused on that right now. Obviously, we play Monday night against the Lions. Focus on Hutchinson. Focus on that defense. Focus on what you got to do to try to slow down Jared Goff and that passing attack and those running backs. Focus on that. We'll see you Monday night. But after that, you're gonna have a short week because you're gonna play Kansas City in Kansas City on Sunday the following week. So I'm just letting you know, Spags is going to send those 6-man blitzes. And if your offensive line can't handle it, like it's never been able to handle it, you're gonna be in trouble. Just letting you know, Baltimore, Spags is he's gonna do what he always does. And I can't wait to watch this offensive line crumble again as they fail to do anything. Chris Jones is going to be absolutely dominating in this game. Chris Jones is going to harass Lamar Jackson all day in Kansas City. We know what's going to happen. Oh, my God. When I got to make my preview video for that, it's going to be so disgusting to talk about that. Oh, boy. Ravens can't handle a 6. They can't handle the man blitz. They can't handle a 6-man rush. They don't have any answers for that, I guess. Get ready for Lamar to take a lot of hits and for the pressure to be consistently causing our offensive line to collapse because they can't handle pressure. That's their problem. Net negative offensive line. Boom. Another net negative, Mark Andrews. Last year, when Mark Andrews started off slow, he was looking poor. People had issues with it. But I, like many others, understood that he needed a little bit of time. Obviously, it suffered that injury, in the prior season, that injury that was nearly season-ending. He got the surgery, came back, played in the AFC Championship game, and didn't even look close to looking like himself. Probably shouldn't have played in that game. We lost. He comes back, training camp. He's healthy, but then he got in that accident. That situation happened, and that kind of had him a little bit shaken up. So it took time for Mark Andrews to start the season to get back into his rhythm and look like the Mark Andrews. So we had to give him some lenience. There's no excuse now. There's no excuse now. Especially because Isaiah Likely's not here. At least to start the season last year, Isaiah Likely was on the field. So we could give you a break. Plus, Isaiah Likely was out there balling. There's no Isaiah Likely out here. You were 100% healthy. You were very active through training camp. You had a great training camp, and you're still playing bad. Week 1, 1 catch, 5 yards. Week 2, I think you had 1 catch, maybe 2 catches for 7 yards. What did Mark Andrews have yesterday? Mark Andrews, 1 catch, 2 yards. Through 2 games, Mark Andrews has 2 catches for 7 yards. He also dropped the touchdown pass. Now, again, it's debatable. It's debatable. Maybe if you look at it and review it, you see he potentially makes a football move. In terms of him having 3 steps, it looks like he comes close to having 3 steps. I don't fully know if he has 3 steps. I think it's close, but I'm not fully sure. So I think it's close, but I'm not fully sure. So I'm not fully sure if you look at the review, because John Harbaugh wanted to review it, and he later talked about this in the press conference, that he was considering reviewing it and throwing a challenge flag, but upstairs told him no, told him a hard no, do not challenge this. It would have been an iffy call, and it could have gone either way, so it's fine. The Ravens chose not to challenge it, but it goes down as Mark Andrews dropping a pass in the end zone. So a drop touchdown by Mark Andrews. Dude, you can't be playing like this. The fan base has been on your case for the last 6 months. Actually, not even the last 6 months. We're in September. They've been on your head for the last 8 months. They have been on your case for the last 8 months, dude. Nobody in Baltimore forgot. Nobody in the fan base forgot. None of us forgot about that drop 2-point conversion and fumble. Nobody forgot about that. So that happens. We got to seethe with that for months. Season starts. Opening night. No Isaiah Likely. 1 catch for 5 yards. 1 catch for 5 yards. Then yesterday, Lamar finds you in the end zone. Ball is in your hands, and you let the defender punch it out. Incomplete. I have a lot of love and appreciation for Mark Andrews. So you're not going to see me going after him the way many of these fans are going after him. But dude, you playing like this is a horrible look for you, and it's not going to make things easier for you. People have already come into the season saying it doesn't matter what Mark does the regular season. He's still going to be the same irrelevant guy in January because he's done nothing in the postseason. So you playing like this is not helping your case. You playing like this is a bad look. It is. It's a horrible look. You can't play like this, Mark. You have to be better than this, dude. You playing like this, you looking like this, it fuels the fire. It's just not a good look. And Isaiah Likely, he's going to be back soon, and he's probably going to get a lot more looks than you. So you're playing like this early on. Now, then again, with more people putting an emphasis on Isaiah Likely, it's going to make it easier for Mark Andrews to get touchdowns potentially. Because at some point, you start to stretch the defense out. I got to worry about Zay. I got to worry about Bateman. I got to worry about Likely. I got to worry about D-Hop. Yeah, at some point, it's going to open things up for Mark Andrews to get some touchdowns. But people are basically done with this guy. They're basically done with him. Do I think Mark Andrews is done? No. He started off slow last year and still finished the season with 11 touchdown receptions. So I think he'll probably still be very useful and make plays throughout the season and get a bunch of touchdowns like he always does. But I don't think Mark Andrews is the Mark Andrews that we saw when he became an All-Pro. Like, All-Pro Mark may be gone. All-Pro Mark may be gone. When he suffered that injury in 2023, that might have been what led to this. All-Pro Mark Andrews may be gone. He could still potentially play at a Pro Bowl level, but All-Pro Mark Andrews that would just make these crazy highlight plays and make these tough contested catches and have these great performances, it's over. Not to mention, this has to be emphasized. Mark, you're not the focal point of the offense anymore. Mark Andrews was doing his thing when he was the guy on the offense. Back when Lamar had nobody else to throw to but him and occasionally Hollywood. 2021 was Lamar's worst statistical year. That was Mark Andrews' best statistical year, and that's how he became an All-Pro. All we could do in Greg Roman's horrible offense was just throw the ball to Mark Andrews. And he would make play after play after play. You remember on Sunday Night Football when Lamar Jackson had his worst game of his career statistically when he threw 4 interceptions because he kept chucking the ball down the field to Mark Andrews and forcing it and hoping everything works out. Yeah, Mark had the highlight of the season for him. I mean, Lamar Jackson rolls to his right, defenders in his face. He's buying time, yeets the ball down the field. Mark Andrews turns around with the defender draped all over him and catches the ball with one hand as he's falling back. Then a few plays later, Lamar's backpedaling, and throws it to the end zone. Mark Andrews makes a catch for the touchdown. Mark Andrews was making crazy catches and crazy plays all that year. When Mark Andrews was the focal point of this offense, it was all him. It was Mark Andrews or nothing. But we're not that offense anymore. We don't have Greg Roman as our offensive coordinator, so it's not like the passing game is pedestrian anymore. That's not the case. You've got Todd Monken that knows what he's doing in the pass game and knows how to utilize talent in receivers. Not to mention, the talent at the receiving core is several times better than it's been before. It's the best it's been. Oh, Quentin Johnson touchdown! Quentin Johnson touchdown! Is Quentin Johnson finally living up to his potential? He found his hands and he's living up to his potential. Quentin Johnson has a 60-yard touchdown reception here. The Chargers, bro, are looking real good, bro. I'm telling you, bro, I'm going to push this Herbert for MVP conversations. Herbert for MVP right now. Chargers looking good, and Quentin Johnson is finally living up to his potential. Quentin Johnson's finally living up to his potential. Look at him. This is a beautiful route by him, and he's wide open, and he makes the over-the-shoulder throw for the touchdown. Oh my God, Quentin Johnson is finally living up to his potential. He doesn't look like garbage anymore. He can catch. He's finally developed hands. Oh my God, he finally developed hands. The Chargers fans rejoice. He's finally developed hands. Well done, Quentin Johnson. Keep playing like this, and all the bad play you had in the previous 2 years, nobody's going to care. He's developed hands. 60-yard touchdown pass. Justin Herbert to Quentin Johnson, and I'm telling you right now, Justin Herbert for MVP. You heard it here first. Joe Burrow is down. Justin Herbert for MVP. I'm calling it now. Justin Herbert for MVP. He is ready. It's his time. Justin Herbert for MVP. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. Mark Andrews, you used to be the focal point of this offense, dude, but that's not the case anymore. The Ravens have real talent now. You got Isaiah Likely right next to you, who's performing better than you and looks to be tight end one. You've got Zay Flowers. You've got DeAndre Hopkins. You've got Rashad Bateman. You've got real talent here. And of course, you got the weapon known as Derrick Henry. The Ravens have so much more offensive talent that you're not the focal point of the offense anymore. You're not the go-to guy for Lamar when the ball gets snapped. Nowadays, Lamar's looking for Zay. This year, Lamar is looking for D-Hop. He's looking for Rashad Bateman. Tez Walker has made an appearance. Tylan Wallace has an appearance. Dude, they've got depth at receiver and they're utilizing their talent. And as soon as Isaiah Likely gets back, he's getting the football. So Mark Andrews, you're no longer the focal point of this offense. So when you get your opportunities, you have to play well. He was a net he was a net negative yesterday. He didn't do anything. And the one time he had a chance to do something, he dropped a touchdown. It wouldn't have really changed anything majorly in terms of the overall presence in the game, but a touchdown is a touchdown. We'll take those. If it comes to the point where he's just a red zone threat, you'll take that. But you can't be dropping passes in your hands in the red zone. You gotta be better than that, Mark. I still got faith in you. I still got belief in you. But the Ravens flock, they're done with you, man. A majority of this fan base, is done with you. They've moved on. They're telling you, bro, you're done. It's over for you. We're past you. When Mark Andrews dropped that ball Sunday, damn near every single Ravens fan either thought this or said it under their breath. Ah, I cannot wait for Isaiah Likely to get back. We need him. The offense has moved past you, Mark. You're a piece of this offense, no doubt. You are a piece of this offense, and you are a weapon to be utilized. But you're no longer the focal point. You're no longer the focal point. You are no longer that guy. So I don't know what else to tell you. You're no longer the focal point. You're no longer that guy. And because you're no longer that guy, you're not going to really have a lot of looks. And when you don't have a lot of looks, you have to deliver in the moments you do get looks. So, yeah, that's all I got to say about that's all I got to say about Mark Andrews, but I don't want to push it past that. I was going to say one more thing, but I'm going to leave it there. That's all we got to say about Mark Andrews. He was a net negative in yesterday's game. Another net negative, Derrick Henry, but it was understandable. The Browns defense refused to let him run the ball. So, Derrick Henry being a net negative, I'm not concerned with that. Trust me, the Browns defense is one of the best in the league. And again, they literally dedicated the entire game to just locking in specifically on Derrick Henry. They just locked in on stopping the run. That's what they came in to do. They talked trash saying it was easy to tackle Derrick Henry, so they had to live up to it by tackling Derrick Henry. So the defense locked in to stop him from running the ball, which is why our pass game had to be the one to win it, and they were winning it. So good on the pass game. But yeah, I don't have anything to really say about Derrick Henry other than the fact that he's officially a Raven. Derrick Henry's 100% a Raven. It's in his DNA now. But he's fumbling the ball. He fumbled week 1. He fumbled week 2. I don't even know what to say. He's truly a Raven now. You can't truly be a Raven until you develop fumbleitis. So now he is truly a Raven. He has developed fumbleitis. Shout out to Derrick Henry. I mean, I'm kidding on that one. Let's not shout him out for that. We love you, Derrick Henry. The king is the king. Because you're the king, we excuse all of that. I'm not gonna lie. We'll move past the fumbles. You're the king. You're King Henry for a reason. You are King Henry for a reason. So it is what it is. So we gonna move past that, and we ain't really gonna do too much. But it is a net negative. It's a net negative there, so we have to count it. Last net negative, Rashad Bateman. I mean, he didn't really have much of an impact, and when he had an opportunity, he had a chance for a first down and dropped the pass. People are already ready to get on Rashad Bateman's head because he's done virtually nothing through 2 games. But you understand the ball does have to come his way, and he hasn't really had a lot of looks because Zay Flowers is killing it. Lamar is actively looking for DeAndre Hopkins. That's an interception. Okay, yeah. Somebody Geno Smith is just wasting time now. What is that? That's 2 picks in the first half of Geno Smith. What is Geno doing? He just chucked the ball down the field. Your receiver is contested. He just chucked the ball down the field into double coverage for no reason. Somebody tell Geno this is not going to work. What is Geno Smith doing? He chucked it into double coverage. You had no shot at that play being made. So dumb. Stop trying to force plays, Geno. That's why you got 2 picks in the first half. Anyway, back to this. Yeah, Rashad Bateman, people are already ready to get on his head, but dude, there's a lot of mouths to feed on this offense. There's only so many opportunities he's going to get. Because you've got Derrick Henry, and he is our focal point of our run game, so Derrick Henry has to get his carries. That leaves you to the pass attempts. Now, pass attempts are limited in the Ravens offense. It's limited. Lamar is so efficient as a damn quarterback, he's going to carve a defense out with 20 pass attempts. 20 to 25 pass attempts, at times he'll get it done. Now, yesterday he had 30, but yeah, that was Tony Jefferson. But it could go either way how you look at it in terms of pass attempts. There's a limited amount of opportunities there. And Rashad Bateman did not make the most of his opportunities. But again, as the season ramps up, everybody's going to eat in this offense. So understand this. Rashad Bateman may not put up the numbers he put up last year, but Rashad Bateman will have his time to eat. Everybody's going to eat in the offense. So far, D-Hop scored. Zay Flowers has scored. Tyler Wallace has scored. Devontae Walker has scored. Who else has scored? Let me see. Zay Flowers, DeAndre Hopkins, Tez Walker, Tyler. Yeah, those 4. So far, those 4 have scored in the receiving game. So those 4 have scored. Those 4 have scored. Past that, we haven't seen Andrews. He could have had a score, but he didn't do it. And Bateman hasn't really had a look. So, yeah, he'll have time. And likely he's going to come back, so he'll get an opportunity as well. Yeah, so like I said, I'd say Wallace scored, Walker scored, Flowers scored, and Diop scored, like I said. So there's only been 4 receivers that have scored so far. Likely when he gets back, he'll find the end zone. Andrews at some point will find the end zone. Bateman will have his time, but this is an offense where where everybody's going to eat. That's just how things work here for the Ravens. So, yeah, Bateman was a net negative in yesterday's game, but again, he didn't really have a lot of opportunities. I'm not really worried about Bateman. You got weapons on this offense, so everybody's going to eat. That's just how things work. Any other net negative? Marlon Humphrey dropping that pick. That's a net negative. Marlon Humphrey still played great in the game. It's just he dropped that pick, so he can't say nothing to Nate Wiggins about not taking that pick six to not taking that pick six because it was a pick six. You can't say nothing to Nate Wiggins about not taking that interception to the house. It should have been a pick six, but Nate Wiggins ran out of gas and got tackled by an offensive lineman. So it is what it is there. But yeah, no, Marlon Humphrey can't say nothing about anybody's hands because he should have caught that and he didn't. So yeah, that's a net negative. Marlon Humphrey dropping the pass. Other than that, Marlon Humphrey was still Marlon Humphrey. He was great. And yeah, there's not much really to say net negative wise. I mean, you dominated them, so there's not a lot of negatives to look at. Other than that, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So in terms of this week 2 therapy session, there is not much more to discuss. Ravens got the win, so there's not a lot to really address. And the things that needed to be addressed, we already addressed it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for week 2. And now we move on to week 3, Monday Night Football against the Detroit Lions. I think Baltimore's going to be wearing all black, so it should be an interesting one. We'll see. I think that's what they said early on, that they could be wearing all black for Monday Night Football, but we'll just have to wait and see. In terms of me talking about the Lions and discussing it or making my predictions, I usually do that towards the end of the week. So yeah, I'll see how it goes with the prediction aspect. So I'll be looking at the Lions and seeing how things are gonna go with that and seeing what assessment I'm gonna make in regards to Detroit, because those boys were pissed and they blew out the Bears. Should be a fun one. We'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, let me take a look at your comments here and see how everything goes. You guys know I usually like to look at the comments after I say my piece, which is perfect because halftime's hitting here and I'm not going to be here for all this entire game. I'm going to be leaving after I do the comments here. But Chargers are dominating 17-6, and the Raiders have no chance to come back at this point unless they have a miraculous second half and Geno doesn't turn the ball over 12 million times. But it looks like the Chargers are going to get another dominating win. Justin Herbert with 2 touchdown passes in the first half. He's killing it. Justin Herbert for MVP. You heard it here first. Justin Herbert for MVP. I said it last week. I'll say it again this week. Let's look at these comments. Hot take. CJ Stroud is not a top 16 quarterback. That is a debatable one, but with the way he's playing right now, he didn't play well in week 1, and tonight he didn't look that great either. That's debatable, but it is a fair conversation to have. What's going on, Jalen? Sunday Night Football, prepare for a funeral for the Giants. I have no idea if that's going to be the case. Could be a trap game for the Chiefs. Who knows? What's going on, CJ? Defense of the Texans missed tackles while getting gashed in the run at times. Yeah. Defense had some mishaps, especially because they couldn't get Baker Mayfield down when he took off. And some mistakes by the defense there. But, they still played well enough to help their team win. The offense got to get it together. And the crazy thing about the Texans is if the Colts take advantage of this, Indiana Jones will win his first division title. Okay, that's congratulations to Daniel Jones, I guess. Stroud has not looked comfortable since his rookie year. That is true. Wasted offensive opportunities? Absolutely. Do you think the Ravens can go and beat the Chiefs week 4? I mean, they have the talent to do so, but do you trust them to be able to get it done against Kansas City? That's what you have to ask yourself. Can they go and beat the Chiefs week 4? Yes. Do they have the talent to beat the Chiefs? Absolutely. In fact, with the talent they have, they should be able to stomp the Chiefs. Will they be able to do so? Who knows? My money would be no, because they always find a way to lose these type of games. So I don't trust the Ravens in these moments. Don't trust them in the postseason. Don't trust them against the Chiefs. And at this point, I can't trust them against the Bills. I don't know what Ravens team I'm going to get in those games. So could they? Yeah. Do they have the talent to do so? Absolutely. Will they? I don't know. I say my friends and people be saying D-Hop is washed, but he looking like Texas D-Hop when he plays with Lamar. Chiefs must have not used him correctly, I guess. The weird part about this aspect is people are pretending that D-Hop did nothing in Kansas City. Did people forget he had that 2 touchdown performance? Was it against Tampa Bay? He had a great performance. I think it was against Tampa Bay or something. D-Hop was very useful in the regular season for the Chiefs. People are just pretending he didn't do anything because come postseason, he wasn't really involved offensively in the postseason. And then he had that horrible drop in the Super Bowl, which everyone is just pretending is the only aspect to look at for his entire time in Kansas City. That drop pass, even though they were already getting blown out. And he also had a touchdown that he caught. It was a garbage time touchdown, but it was still a touchdown in the Super Bowl. But people are pretending that D-Hop didn't do anything in Kansas City. Do we have to go pull up the stats and the performance of the moments he had in the regular season? I get he didn't do much in the playoffs, but damn, y'all acting like he did. What he's doing with Lamar, he did some of this with Patrick Mahomes. I vividly remember a deep shot that Patrick Mahomes threw to D-Hop in double coverage, and D-Hop made the play. All right, I guess D-Hop did nothing. He stepped foot in and did nothing. The fact of the matter is, That drop pass in the Super Bowl is the only thing Chiefs fans remember about D-Hop. Everything prior to that, they don't care. Phil, D-Hop is doing what we hoped OBJ would do. Yep. So nice to see Lamar to finally have a receiver that can catch everything. It's been too long to get to this point, but hey, here we are. A highest pass rating in NFL history now? Yep. Like to see Justin Herbert win a playoff game since you don't have that idiot coach with them. I mean, Jim Harbaugh is a great coach, and I'm sure he'll be able to win a playoff game. But it just depends. I don't know. Depends on who they match up with. But right now, the Chargers look great. Quiet Lamar game and he threw 4 tutties, which is funny to me because it didn't feel that way. Yeah, Lamar's just putting up these type of performances, and it's not even like he's being super Lamar. The real test for Lamar is playing against Aaron Rodgers. I don't know about that one. You're saying the test is him playing against the Steelers? Because, I mean, first of all, he doesn't play against Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback. The quarterbacks don't play against each other. They play the defenses. So he's saying his test is playing against the Steelers defense because that's who he's playing against. He's not playing against Aaron Rodgers. He's playing against the Steelers defense. What's going on, Josh? MVP Lamar? Yeah. The Browns have Henry's number for some reason because they have the personnel to slow him down and stop him. So when they lock in on Henry, they know what to do. Like I said, teams like Buffalo don't have the personnel to slow down Derrick Henry. The Browns do have the personnel to do so, which is why they can shut him out. That's what they did in Tennessee, and that's what they're doing here in Baltimore. Though Derrick Henry's had his moments where he's been able to run on them. It's not like you could shut him down forever. Bro, these quarterback injuries are terrible. Joe Burrow, Brock Purdy, Justin Fields, Jaden Daniels, and J.J. McCarthy. Yeah, Joe out for 3 months to get surgery on that turf toe. Brock Purdy's out this week. He was out last week, so Mac Jones had to play. He may be out this week as well. Justin Fields got a concussion, so he may not play this week. Jaden Daniels dealing with a knee injury. He may not play this week. J.J. McCarthy out because of the ankle injury he suffered last night, so he's not playing. Carson Wentz is going to play. These quarterback injuries are piling up early on here. I have no hope for January, but it's nice seeing this team ball out. I agree. What's going on, Darth? Yeah, I love Diop as well, man. He's playing well. Get it done in 60 minutes, you understand? Ray Lewis having to emphasize that is embarrassing, but hey, we're at this point where he has to do this. Or else they're going to go out there and play for 45 minutes or 55 minutes and forget about the last 5 minutes and lose the game. So it is what it is. D-Hop will be our Anquan Bold, and then we win in the ship. Good luck with that, Darth. I'll believe it when I see it. I'm not going to predict none of that. I'll believe it when I see it. We're at the point where the Ravens, where it's I'll believe it when I see it. That's it. I'm not giving them the benefit of the doubt. They don't deserve the benefit of the doubt. I'll believe it when I see it. How about that? For now, we take it week to week and enjoy what we're seeing. What's going on, Joshua? Andrews looks washed. He looked like this to start the year last year. So I'm not surprised, but again, he shouldn't be playing like this year. Because last year, I explained the circumstances as to why that was like that last year. This year, he's been healthy, he's fine, and there's no Isaiah Likely. He should be doing something, and he's doing nothing. If you watch the footage, D-Hop is never open when Lamar throws it to him. He just knows D-Hop will win the matchup. We got our 50-50 ball guy, maybe more like a 90-10 ball guy so far. I mean, yeah, Lamar's just trusty. For the first time, Lamar has a receiver that he can trust to win a 50-50 matchup. And he's just throwing it up there. Expect Lamar to do that a lot more this season when D-Hop is down the field. It was called Roquan Smith. That's nasty. 15 tackles and a fumble touchdown. Unbelievable AFC Defensive Player of the Week right there. I don't know if he's going to win it, but he does have a case. Roquan was definitely eating. Ready to roll like a dad with a belt. Do that again and see what happens. That's crazy. Ray Lewis needs to be a part of this coaching staff. Dude, we've been saying this for years. It's not going to happen. Dude literally woke up the beast inside of Roquan. Hope we get that all season. Unless Ray is willing to travel with the team every week to get in their heads to say this, I don't see that happening. So unless he's willing to do that, the guys are just going to have to figure it out. Ro couldn't let the legend in the building down. We need Ray as our coach ASAP. He's not going to be the coach of this team. Sucks Nate got caught by the guard. He did get caught. It is what it is. Week 1 still hurts. We should be 2-0. We should be a lot of things, dude, but we choke a lot, so it is what it is. Stout is very underrated. Debatable. 2016 week 9. Yeah, thank you for that, Dean. I pointed that as well. Jake Hummel blocked the punt. That was the main reason he signed him. I talked about that during the stream. I was like, who blocked it? They said Jake Hummel. Oh, you damn right, Jake Hummel. I was like, didn't we sign this guy this season? During the offseason, we signed him for this reason. And he showed up. Daniel Falele is terrible. What I don't understand is they will pull defensive players for playing bad. It's the Ravens way, dude. But for this week, everybody was bad on the offensive line. Falele's a double agent. That's funny. Yeah, Stanley did get crushed. Myles Garrett could not be stopped. One drive, legit, Myles had every tackle. Absolutely, he did. O-line has been a problem forever, it feels like. O-line has been a problem since Marshall Yonder retired. The last time we had an offensive line that we could trust was 2019. Ever since 2019, the offensive line has not been the same. They finna bring the zero blitz like Miami did on Thursday night game a few years ago. Well, again, they're not going to send the zero blitz because Baltimore has answers for that, and they don't struggle against the zero blitz. They're going to send a 5 or 6 man blitz. That's what they're going to do. They're going to send a 5 or 6 man rush. They're going to man blitz us in that, and they're going to make sure to keep Lamar in the pocket when they send that blitz because they want him to make a quick decision. And for some reason, the Ravens can't. There's methods to beat that, but the Ravens offensively aren't making the checks, and they're not fixing that aspect. Not to mention, even when they do try to fix it and get it off, the offensive line plays so bad and gets immediately collapses that Lamar will get it off to the right person, batted down by Chris Jones. I don't know what to tell you, dude. The Ravens have talent, but they are lousy and fold in the playoffs, so it's a waste. I mean, it's a waste of talent if you can't win with this. I think everyone knows down the stretch years from now, if they don't win with this type of talent, it's going to be a detriment and a bad look for this franchise that you wasted this amount of talent. But who knows how things are going to go. The Chargers are looking at like an elite team right now. Yeah, but it's only been 2 games. Can't overreact. But right now, they're winning the games they need to win. Absolutely winning the games we need to win. I enjoy watching the Ravens, but everyone knows they ain't going to the Super Bowl no time soon. I mean, we've been saying this for years now. It's not like it's a surprise. They have all the talent in the world to win a championship. It's just they keep wasting that talent and failing to get it done in the postseason and falling short. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone... They're still favored. People still think they have a high chance. As a Ravens fan, I would love for this to be the case, and I'm going to be rooting and supporting this team every week and hoping and praying we get to a Super Bowl. But I've been as realistic as I could be with this team. I don't see them getting it done in the postseason. They have to show me they can do it. So I don't have them. I didn't pick them to get to the Super Bowl last year. I didn't pick them to get to the Super Bowl the year before or the year before. And I didn't pick them to get to the Super Bowl this year. So until you prove otherwise to me, I can't really make an assessment. As a Ravens fan, I can be biased and say the Ravens are going to figure it out and go to the Super Bowl no matter what. They got the best team in the league. They're going to win the Super Bowl. I could just say that right now as a Ravens fan. But my job is to keep it real here. And objectively, the Ravens are a team you cannot trust. So I cannot, with good conscience, pick them to get to the Super Bowl and win. You have to show me at this point. So until you show me, I'm not giving you the benefit of the doubt. I call them regular season Ravens. That's cool. I mean, they've been the regular season Ravens for a while now. Lions prediction. I don't have a Lions prediction right now. I have to take some time to kind of look at the Lions in terms of... I want to take a look back at that performance they had against the Bears. Offensively, they figured themselves out. So, yeah, I want to take some time to look into that. Once I do so, I'll have my prediction out probably by Thursday or something like that and have an understanding. I also want to see what's going to happen in regards to Isaiah Likely and Patrick Ricard. There's a high chance Patrick Ricard's just not going to be ready anytime soon. But Isaiah Likely, I predicted him to come back week 3. This could be the week he comes back. I said week 3 or week 4. We here now, week 3. I think this is the time Isaiah Likely could come back. If not, he'll definitely be on the field for Kansas City next week. But we'll see. I see Ravens versus Packers in the Super Bowl. I mean, if you're going to base it off of 2 weeks, the Packers do look like the best team in football, but the Eagles are still there, so I'm not going to immediately crown the Packers. And again, I don't trust the Ravens, so I'm not going to take that chance. Falele's trash. The offensive line was trash yesterday, but I know Falele, we got our statements about him. Dan angry with Ben Johnson. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess. They did say in the press conference they were just trying to get back. They were just using it as motivation. I don't really think they're angry with Ben Johnson. They're more so using it as motivation. How can you get mad at a guy getting a job opportunity? It sucks that it's against a divisional rival, but they gave him a job opportunity. He got a promotion. Be happy for your guy. If Greg Roman would have left and went to Pittsburgh, I wouldn't bat an eye. But if he would have left and became the next head coach for the Browns for some reason because they fired Stefanski, I wouldn't cry about it. Be happy for the dude. He got a promotion. Be happy for him. Even if it's in the division, be happy for him for getting a promotion. They were just using that as motivation. It clearly worked. Let's see. Fire John. What's that nickname you gave him? Oh, yeah, I called him a parasite. That's what I called him. Well, I've called him a bunch of things. I think the two things that I've called him the most is a parasite and Doc Rivers. So, yeah, take your choice as to which one you want to use to describe John Harbaugh. Who's getting out of the NFC this year, in your opinion? I still got Philly getting out of the NFC. Again, they have the best roster in football. I believe they have the best roster in football. Um, Green Bay is going to be the biggest threat to them. I believe Green Bay is the biggest threat to them, followed by the Rams. So the Green Bay Packers' biggest threat to get to the Super Bowl, or the biggest threat to stop them from getting back to the Super Bowl, is the Green Bay Packers. The second biggest threat is the LA Rams, in my opinion. But yeah, I still have the Eagles making the Super Bowl. I'll see what Green Bay does as the season goes on, but it's only been 2 weeks. Not to mention Green Bay and Philadelphia are 2-0. And the games they played against the Packers played against the Lions, and they played against the Commanders. The Eagles played against the Cowboys, and they played against the Chiefs. They blew out the Lions and pretty much manhandled the Commanders. Meanwhile, the Eagles have won close games against the Eagles and against the Cowboys and the Chiefs. So you make the assessment however you can. I still look at Eagles having the best roster in football. They got the best offensive line. They got the best running back in football. They got 2 Pro Bowl level receivers, if not all Pro level receivers. You've got the best defense in football, and you've got the deepest roster in the National Football League. I still trust them. But the Packers will be the biggest threat. So I still have the Eagles getting to the Super Bowl. But I think the Packers could definitely beat them in the playoffs and pull off the upset. If I had to pick a team that could beat the Eagles in the playoffs, it would be the Packers. But don't sleep on the Rams, because they also have the capability of beating Philadelphia as well. So we'll see. The 2 biggest threats to Philadelphia is Green Bay and LA. If those 2 teams get them in the playoffs, they got a shot to beat them. But I'll stick with Philadelphia for now. Until Philadelphia shows me some real cracks of concerns, I'll stick with them. They should. Sorry, we have a chance to win. Oh, yeah. No, let me go back here. Right here, Lamar has the highest quarterback rating. But yeah, I talked about that earlier, so that's cool. He just passed Rodgers. Yeah, we have a chance to win every game with Lamar. Without Lamar, we are nothing. That could be said for a lot. Actually, I can't say a lot. That could be said for Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes. That is also said for Buffalo with Josh Allen. When you're a part of the elite, your team's not gonna win a lot of games without you. That's just the case. So yeah, that's just how it is. Should have played Shador during that garbage time yesterday. He's the most popular player on the Browns. They don't care about popularity. At the end of the day, they played Dylan Gabriel because he's their backup quarterback. They weren't going to throw in number 3 over number 2. They played who their backup quarterback is, and they wanted to give Dylan Gabriel. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how popular Shador Sanders is. The Browns could not give a damn about the man's popularity. They don't care. They're focused on doing what they want to do, and they're going to focus on looking at how that's going to go. So they're going to go in the order that they have it in. They're not going to play Shador. They will play Dylan Gabriel. At some point, Flacco's going to lose the starting job, and Dylan Gabriel will probably be the starter. And then you'll see Shador be the backup. And if they want to alternate at that point, they will. But the Browns aren't changing just because Shador is popular. They don't care about popularity. Popularity is not going to help their case. Every time Daniel Jones wins for the Colts, I see these Facebook posts of a man you see a Facebook post made of him of Indiana Jones. Yeah, they've been calling him Indiana Jones these last 2 weeks. Shador has a higher seller jersey in the league, I think. If that's the case, that's good for him, but that's not going to be a reason for why the Browns are going to play him. They don't care about his popularity. They could give a damn less. They're not going to move past the way they go about things, the way they have this situation set up. Dylan Gabriel's number 2, Shador's number 3. They're not changing that format just because he's highly popular. He could be popular and stand on the sideline and hold a clipboard. That's what they have him doing. Now, I wish they would release him, but, that's not my call to make. Let him be released and let him go have an opportunity somewhere else if you don't want to play him, but that's not my call to make. Herbert is about to air this out again. Oh, no one's open, so you just got to check it down. Oh, that's a nice tackle. Got to make a third down stop here and get the ball back because you're down. You're down 11? Still a game here, but you got to make a defensive stop here. I got Green Bay or the Rams. It could easily be one of those two. Who is a sleeper in the NFC? Let me take a look because again, the Eagles are the favorites. The Rams and the Packers are the 2 teams that people look at as the biggest threats to the Eagles. If I had to take a look, let me really look at a team. Let me really look at a team that I want to look at as sleepers. Just in the NFC, because I've been seeing some of these guys play. No one in the NFC East was a sleeper. Commanders are already dealing with their problems. Mm, the Lions can't be considered a sleeper. They're still a contending team that people believe could compete with the Eagles, but we don't know if that's the case. Honestly, I think San Francisco might be the answer. San Francisco lost Brock Purdy, won last week. They're 2-0 on the season. The Cardinals are 2-0? Let's see how long that lasts. But yeah, the NFC West is going to be competitive, man. But yeah, I think the Niners. The Niners, if they're healthy, I said it when I made my prediction video. If the Niners are healthy, they're going to be in the playoffs. If they're not healthy, they're going to miss the postseason. So I would look at this and say the 49ers. I would love to say Detroit, but I think people still look at Detroit as a contending team that could compete with Green Bay and Philadelphia. So I don't know if I can say Detroit just yet. But if Detroit starts to be overlooked, then I can look at them as a sleeper. But I'll look at the Niners and say the Niners are probably pick. Oh, you got the Niners as well as a sleeper? I agree with that. I think the Chiefs could be 2-0 with Lamar and Andy. I'm not trying to play these what-if situations about where they could be with Lamar Jackson. I'm not looking to do that, bro. They got Patrick Mahomes. They'll be fine. All right. At the end of the day, as long as they make the playoffs, we know what Patrick Mahomes is in January. We know what Travis Kelce is in January. Patrick Mahomes does not have to be the best quarterback in the regular season. As long as he's able to still play football in January, he's going to be fine. So I'm not really looking at the aspect of Lamar and Patrick Mahomes. If Lamar was in Kansas City with Andy Reid right now, I'm not really willing to look at that. I get that you want to make that comparison. I'm not interested in making that comparison because we could play the what if scenarios forever. We could play the what if scenarios forever, and we don't know how things are going to turn out. So we can play the what if scenario, but I'm just not interested. At the end of the day, y'all can feel however you want about the Chiefs until they showcase that they are officially dead. Until they get put in the dirt, I'm not overlooking the Chiefs. I'm just not. And it's fine for Patrick Mahomes to not be the best in the regular season. It's not. It's fine if Patrick Mahomes is not the best in the regular season. He just has to be at his best come January. Because if he's at his best come January, we know what they're capable of. Who are the 7 teams you think are going to the postseason in the AFC? I had my teams, which now has to be changed. Baltimore, Buffalo, Kansas City, Houston, LA, Denver, Cincinnati. Those were my 7 teams making it to the postseason. But since Joe Burrow's hurt, Pittsburgh, you were right there as the number 8 team on my list. I said it came down to Pittsburgh or Cincinnati. I took a chance on Cincinnati because I thought Burrow would be healthy. Burrow's not healthy. Pittsburgh, you're back in. Because I was just about to put Pittsburgh back in again. But Pittsburgh, you're back in. So, yeah. Do you think the Ravens need a new head coach? I've advocated for them to get a new voice in that locker room so they can stop choking leads. I said the coaching philosophy may have run its course, and I don't think this iteration is going to win. This iteration of coaching staff is going to win. I don't think they're going to win a championship with John Harbaugh still being here. I'm waiting to be proved wrong. I'll celebrate and praise the man if they can win a championship, but I'm just waiting to be proven wrong, and I don't see me being proven wrong yet. So, yeah, I mean, I've been advocating for a new head coach, but that's not going to happen, so it don't really matter. Kelce was cooked last postseason. Yeah, he didn't look great throughout the postseason. He made plays here and there, but he didn't look great. They still found a way to win. I don't judge a quarterback by just Super Bowls. I go by stats. That's great. I already said Lamar Jackson's been the best quarterback in the regular season over the last 3 years. Patrick Mahomes is still getting to Super Bowls. Y'all can feel however you want to feel about it. If Lamar or Allen could just get to Super Bowl and win it, we don't have to have these conversations about Mahomes. So, yeah, that's just how it is. I would say the only time you worry about the Chiefs is if they have 6 losses. Well, it depends on how they're having 6 losses. Or do they have are they under 500 with 6 losses or over 500 with 6 losses? Because that does matter. Who's to say they're making the playoffs? Their offense looks terrible. They're missing their top 2 receivers, Mike. It does. First of all, they can't run the ball. They can't run the ball, so they have to go find a running back. Pacheco is not working out right now. They're not getting anything. They can't run the ball, so they got to go pick up somebody in free agency to come run this football. But everyone's just forgetting Rashid Rice and Xavier Worthy are not playing. So it's kind of hard to be the best you can be offensively when you're missing your top 2 wide receivers. That does play a role into this. And considering the fact that they lost a close game to the Chargers and lost a close game to the Eagles, I feel like we got to pump the brakes a bit about ruling out the Chiefs. Because we try to do this every year. When the Chiefs looked like complete garbage in 2023, everybody said they were done. They weren't winning anything. What did they do? They beat the Dolphins in the wild card. They went to Buffalo and beat Josh Allen and the Bills. They went to Baltimore and beat the Ravens. They went to the Super Bowl and beat the Niners. So again, I'm not going to listen to this until they are officially out. Especially because if you watch the 2 games, Kansas City was right there and had an opportunity to win both games. It just didn't happen. If the Chiefs defense stops freaking Justin Herbert for running for a first down on 3rd and 13, Mahomes gets the ball back with a chance to win the game. If Kelsey doesn't freaking fumble the ball, which leads to a pick, they potentially score. And he said that he catches instead of fumbles the ball. That's 17-13. They lost by 3. Anything can happen. They lost 2 close games without their top 2 wide receivers. I'm not writing them off. I'm not. We do this every year. I'm not writing them off. Until it is definitive, I'm not writing off the Chiefs. I'm not. Y'all are free to do this. I'm not doing that. I've seen it far too many times to just write this team off. I'm not going to do that. I'm not. You're free to do whatever you want. Write them off. It is what it is. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do it. I didn't write them off in 2023 when their offense looked putrid, and they still beat us to get to a Super Bowl and win the championship. Didn't write them off last year when they looked like garbage too. They still got to the damn Super Bowl. I'm not writing them off. I'm not writing them off until they lose. I have no reason to write them off until they lose in the postseason. Not the Super Bowl. Until they lose in the playoffs before you get to the Super Bowl. If the Ravens or Bills beat them, by all means, we can have the conversation about the Chiefs. If they somehow miss the playoffs, by all means, we can have the conversation about the Chiefs. But I'm not writing them off until they're officially done. That's just what I choose to do. I'm not going to write them off. If you want to, feel free to. I'm not going to write them off. I don't think the Giants game is for sure win. The Giants have a pass rush, and Russell Wilson knows how to play the Chiefs. Yeah, you can ask the Giants about that. That pass rush ain't what you think it is, dog. Giants fans will tell you, bro, we don't have a pass rush right now. I'm being dead serious. Giants fans will tell you right now, they don't have a pass rush. They got guys there that's supposed to be doing so, but them boys cannot get pressure. They couldn't get pressure on Jaden Daniels consistently enough, and they sure as hell couldn't get to Dak Prescott. Giants fans right now are actually livid right now because their pass rush, maybe they're looking at their defensive coordinator and saying, dog, why are you looking like this? Giants fans are calling for Wink Martindale to come back because their defense is looking pedestrian. It's not, their pass rush is not supposed to look like this. So while you can say they have a pass rush, they have not performed up to their standard. Now maybe they have a get-right game against the Chiefs, but that pass rush has not looked the way Giants fans thought it was going to look coming into the season. Through 2 games, they couldn't really get to Jaden, and they sure as hell couldn't get to Dak yesterday. So that pass rush ain't what you think it is through 2 games. Maybe they get a get-right game against the Chiefs. Maybe they sack Mahomes 5 times, and now the pass rush looks legit. But in terms of what we saw through 2 games, nah, that pass rush ain't where it needs to be. And Giants fans are livid because they expected that pass rush to be great, and they have not been that. So it is what it is when it comes to that. I would say the Colts is a sleeper team. I don't see the Colts. You know, I'd probably look more towards dark horse than sleeper because I don't see the Colts winning anything significant. I don't see the Colts winning a Super Bowl with Daniel Jones. I don't see them going far in the playoffs with Daniel Jones. I just don't. The first game, they beat the Dolphins, who may be one of the worst teams in football. And then they beat the Broncos due to the Broncos' incompetence down the stretch. The Broncos should have won that game. It was pure incompetence by the Broncos. It's 2 weeks, guys. Please. Please, please, please. We watched the Saints go 3-0, and people talk about Derek Carr for MVP, and then we saw what happened. Let's pump the brakes on Daniel Jones. We do this every year. A quarterback can start off well, and then we see what happens. Let's pump the brakes. It's only been 2 games. People did this with Derek Carr, and the Saints went to hell. Please, let's pump the brakes a little. Let's just pump the brakes a little. Glad to see Daniel Jones playing well, but let's pump the brakes a bit and let's see how things age as the season goes on. They didn't even have 100 yards without Patrick. Yeah, they need to go find their back. They need to get a running. They don't have a running game, and it's going to hurt them. I just think it's the Ravens' time. People have been thinking it's the Ravens' time for the last 2 years. This is year 3 of thinking it's the Ravens' time. Again, until they prove it, I'm not going to believe it's the Ravens' time. They said it was the Ravens' time last year when they got Derrick Henry. They said it was the Ravens' time when they had the #1 seed in 2023. We squandered both those years and didn't get it done. And we lost to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game in a situation in which we know we would have beaten the Niners in the Super Bowl because we beat them in their house on Christmas. We know I'm never going to let that go until we win a Super Bowl. In 2023, we knew for a fact we could have beaten that Niners team in the Super Bowl because we walked into their building on Christmas and smoked them. We would have beat them. Brock Purdy didn't change into some new quarterback in a month. We could have smoked these dudes. Can't let that go. No, can't let that go. We let Mahomes walk into our building for the AFC Championship game and win. No. No. So no, you can believe it's the Ravens' time. People thought it was the Ravens' time in 2023. It wasn't. People thought it was the Ravens' time in 2024. It wasn't. People think it's the Ravens' time this year. We'll see how that works out. But they don't get the benefit of the doubt. They don't. They've lost that opportunity to get the benefit of the doubt. They've had multiple 1 seeds and squandered it. You don't get the benefit of the doubt. How about you show us? So for right now, do your job every week. Try to go 1-0, win these games, win your division, get to the playoffs, and then we'll talk in January. That's it. In terms of saying it's their time or they're going to win Super, no, I'm not doing that. No. You've squandered way too many opportunities, including Sunday night last week when you lost to the Bills. So no, not listening to that. Not listening to that at all. You think they're beating the Giants? I believe the Chiefs are going to beat the Giants. But we'll see. We will see. If the Chiefs' losses were to the Giants or Jacksonville, then yes, but it's divisional rivals and defending Super Bowl champions. Yeah, they lost to the Chargers, who look like a legit team and look like they're going to go through to be, they're going to be a 3-0, not 3-0, 2-0 in the division after tonight, depending on how this goes. They look legit, and then you lost to the Super Bowl champions. So it's not like they've lost to scrubs. We'll see what happens against the Giants, though. Do the Chargers have a shot at the division? Absolutely. They're off to a fantastic. They win tonight. They'll be 2-0 in the season and 2-0 in the division. They'll be off to a fantastic start over everybody else in the division. They have a great chance to win this division. Now, again, if they fall off a cliff, they're done. They can't mess up, but they got a great shot. I truly believe John Harbaugh is going to squander our Super Bowl window. There's a high chance he does that. Who said that the Giants are going to upset the Chiefs? Jobs are going to get shut out. Oh, Giants are going to get shut out. They might hit there. Okay, Nicholas, you always say that. At this point, the Giants are calling for all the coaches' jobs. And they're really calling for the defensive coordinator's job. Actually, they're also looking at Brian Dable as well. So, that's what it is. Patriots might be a sleeper in the AFC. 2 weeks, my guy. 2 weeks. Let's chill out. There's too many sleepers, bro. We can't say every team is a sleeper, bro. We can't say every team is a sleeper. Okay, I've heard Colts are the sleepers. Saying Patriots are the sleepers. People when Niners are sleepers. Like not every team gonna be a sleeper, big dog. And the Patriots, it's too early to say they're a sleeper. They beat the Dolphins. Actually, let me see. Yeah, let me see they beat the Dolphins. They lost week 1, I believe. Yeah, the Patriots they lost week 1. Week 1, who did they go up against week 1 that they lost to? So I go put them as a sleeper after a 1-1. They lost to the Raiders. Week 1. I ain't gonna put the Patriots as sleepers, dog. I can't do that, dog. Saints and Dolphins are a sleeper team. You know what, Charles? They are a sleeper team. Saints fans are falling asleep every time they watch their team play. Nobody cares about Spencer Rattler playing. It don't mean much to them. But, you know, it is what it is. We need home advantage. Good luck getting home field advantage. You blew it when you lost to the Bills. They have the tiebreaker, and they have the easiest schedule out of anyone in the AFC. So how are we going to get home field advantage when the Bills play in a soft division, have an easier schedule than us, and have the head-to-head matchup? Unless Buffalo just pisses themselves, they're going to get the number 1 seed. We squandered home field advantage. We can get the 2 seed. Maybe we get the 2 seed and see maybe we get the 2 seed and potentially see Kansas City in the division round, but we're not getting home field advantage throughout the playoffs. The Bills would have to fall off a cliff and get upset multiple times for us to pull this off, but they have the tiebreak over us. So we literally have to finish with a better record than the Bills. Otherwise, they're getting the number 1 seed. So good luck with home field advantage for the Ravens. They blew it by losing to the Bills. The Bills have an easier schedule and they play in an easier division. The Bills are going to win 13 plus games this year. So unless Baltimore's going to go 15-2, I don't see how they get in the number 1 seed. Wish we could sim to the playoffs like Madden. I'm not trying to sim to nothing. I want to enjoy football. I don't want to get to January knowing how things are going to go for us. Do I think the Ravens and Lions will be a shootout? Possibly, depending on how the defense. If the Ravens defense shows up if the Ravens defense shows up to play, it may not be a shootout. If they don't show up to play, yeah, it'll be a shootout. Depends on the Ravens defense, bro. I'm not really too high on the Lions defense. They still give up points. Despite them blowing out the Bears, they still gave up 21 points. I'm not too keen on the Lions defense like that. So we'll see. Not letting this win fool me. I'm still betting all my money on the Chiefs when we play them. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens lose to the Chiefs. Someone said this too. The Chiefs could they could lose to the Giants next week, start 0-3, and they'll still beat the Ravens the following week because the Ravens can't beat the Chiefs. Go prove us wrong. Bills could lose. Josh Allen was horrible. Yes, they won. Josh Allen was horrible, and they blew out the Jets. You're not going to get a lot of opportunities in which Josh Allen plays like that. Josh Allen doesn't have a lot of those performances. He didn't play well, and they blew out the Jets. They have a cakewalk schedule. There's nobody that's going to catch them off guard. We had our chance. We blew it. They play in a soft division. They're going to play the Dolphins on Thursday night. Probably going to smack them around too. Go to 3-0 and be 2-0 in their division. They're going to win their division with their eyes closed. They're going to win their division with their eyes closed. They have the easiest schedule of any real contender. They've got a cakewalk schedule. They're getting the number 1 seed. Josh Allen would have to fall off a cliff for a month for them to lose the number 1 seed. They're going to get the number 1 seed. That's just the reality of the situation. Buffalo has a cakewalk schedule too, yeah. They got a cakewalk schedule. They play the Eagles. That's one game, dude. Again, it's one game. Let me pull up the Bills schedule for you so I can show you what the Bills are playing up against this year. So let's take out the soft. Let's take out the fact that they play in a weak division. It means absolutely nothing. They play in a weak division. That means absolutely nothing. So let's take that away. And let's look at the games that have nothing to do with their soft division that they're probably going to go either 5-1 or sweep them this year. They play, let's see. Okay, they play the Saints. That's an easy W. They play the Falcons. They're beating the Falcons. They play the Panthers. They play the Panthers. They play the Bucs, which could be an interesting game. They play the Texans that don't have an offense or has an offense that stinks, whatever you want to say. They play the Bengals, which will be without Joe Burrow. They play the Browns, who also stink. Those are the games. Oh, yeah, they also play the Steelers, who don't have a defense. Those are the games that they will probably win for sure. The games that may turn into something, the game against the Chiefs, the game against the Eagles. That could potentially be 2 losses for them. Other than that, not seeing much. The Bills, you never know. You could play this you never know thing. We could play this you never know thing forever, bro. I get you're trying to be optimistic. Look at the schedule. Look at the schedule. Hell, the Bills can lock up the playoff spot before Thanksgiving. Look how bad Miami's looking. The Jets looked horrible offensively against the Bills. They can't compete with them. Yeah, they're gonna be in a very good spot in this division. So I mean, you could play it and you never know. I mean, I could play the you never know game forever. I mean, the Browns are 0-2, but they can still win this division. You never know. You never know. I mean, Joe Flacco can go on a hot streak. I was hearing Ocho talk about this on Nightcap. You know, the Flacco could go on a streak of games and get back into it. You never know. You never know. We could play the you never know game, but realistically, the Bills are a Super Bowl contending team. They're one of the best teams. I said I moved the Dolphins game. I said other than the Dolphins game. I pointed out the games other than the Dolphins game. I said the games they got to play against, the ones that you look at that are the tough ones, is the Eagles and the Chiefs one. The Bucs is debatable, and the Texans don't have an offense. Eagles, Bucs, and Texans, well, they also got the Chiefs, but they always beat the Chiefs in the regular season. Eagles, tough game for Eagles. That one could go either way. They could lose that one. Maybe they lose to Kansas City too. Bucs, I don't see them losing to the Bucs, though it will be an interesting game that could come down to the wire. And they're not losing to the Texans. The Texans don't have an offense. They don't have an offense. Though that defense can make things interesting. But again, this is also coming off of the assumption that Baltimore is going to win 14-plus games. Knowing that we got to deal with Detroit next week. Knowing that we got to take on the Rams. We still got to go to Kansas City. We still got some tough guys. We got Green Bay at the end of the year. We got some tough games. We're not guaranteed to win anything. You never know. Maybe we lose to Kansas City. Maybe we lose to Detroit next week. You never know. We got tough games too. We got a tougher schedule than Buffalo. I get you're trying to be optimistic, but that's not really going to change much when one team has an easy schedule and the other team's got a more difficult schedule. Oh, hey, Ma, what's up? Give me a second, guys. What's up, Ma? Good Lord. I did not realize it is 12 o'clock. I've been on for an hour and a half. I gotta get ready to call it a day. I'll read these final comments and then call it a day. I don't really see any other teams other than the Bills, Ravens, or Chiefs making the Super Bowl in the AFC. That's usually the case. 10 times out of 10 so far, it's been the Chiefs, so it is what it is. We'll see if something changes this year. Do you think the Browns' front seven is really that good? Yeah. We saw what they did week 1 against Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, and they put the pressure on Joe Burrow. So I think they're really that good. They showed it in week 1 against the Bengals. They're showing it here week 2 against the Ravens. That front seven is that good, but again, when you don't have an offense, there's only so much the defense can do. You should do call-ins for your therapy session. I may look to incorporate that in the future. But I ain't gonna use my personal number. I'd have to get like a business phone number for that one because I ain't sharing my personal number with the internet. And again, who knows? Maybe I might have to set up a different streaming aspect because I'm using Streamlabs. I could probably use another streaming platform to try to bring some of you guys up for the therapy sessions. So I've been thinking of doing that for a while for the therapy sessions. I could look to bring some of you guys up, but that's gonna be something for the future. Ravens next year play the AFC and NFC South, so it's easy next year. Can't think about next year. We're on this year. It's the fourth quarter here. It's a 20-6 game, and the Raiders are trying to score a touchdown. Oh my goodness. Geno. He's going to take off. Geno with them legs. First down, but somebody's going to get called for a hold because Geno can never do anything. Offensive holding. Way to go. Wasting Geno's efforts. The Browns have a chance to make it hard for Jordan Love. The defense has a chance to put some pressure on Jordan Love and make it difficult for him. And their secondary actually did a pretty good job against us. Even though, again, we were making catches, but these were some tough contested catches. Like, there was no separation with D-Hop's catches. He was just making them. So, yeah, the Browns could give some trouble to the Packers, but not too much. Because, the Packers defense is going to be harassing Joe Flacco for 60 minutes, and they're going to get to him. Micah Parsons is going to sack Flacco multiple times. So it's not going to be something that's going to be overly difficult for them. Ravens dealing with generational curses, so listen to Mr. Morale. That's crazy. Anyway, guys, I'm going to end it here. It's 12 o'clock. I did not realize it was 12 o'clock. I should have been out of here by halftime, but we talked for like another 45 plus minutes. So I'm going to end things here. And we'll be back a little bit later in the week to talk and discuss. And we'll just get ready for week 3 and see how things go. I appreciate you guys pulling up for the therapy session. This has been the Ravens week 2 therapy session. We'll be back next week for the week 3 therapy session after the Lions game. Hopefully it'll be after a win and the Ravens go to 2-1, but you never know how things are going to go with these type of games. If the Ravens lose at home to the Lions, it's going to be a bad mood for everybody. So we'll see how things go. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you pulling up for the stream today. Thank you so much for pulling up for this therapy session, and I will see you guys later. Good night, everybody. Take care. Be sure to stay safe. Peace out.